Okay, if you don't know me, my name is Kingston, and I am a huge fan of Mr. Kanye West. Kanye is a very talented artist, but he gets a lot of flack from the media due to his, his mouth and his overachieving, can-do, I'm the best attitude, which I personally don't think is, a bad thing. He's made some sketchy choices on when to voice his opinion, but I'm here to talk to you about him as an artist and maybe give you some background on him as a person and maybe persuade you to look at him like I do as a great artist and a pretty funny social figure. So, this is The College Dropout, Kanye West's first album. Before he got signed as an artist, he was mostly a producer. He would pick up young, up-and-coming artists and work with them on beats and getting their albums out there so that they would gain notoriety. But he really wanted to rap. So after a huge struggle, he finally releases The College Dropout. The College Dropout, if you talk to anyone in the hip-hop community, is one of the most highly regarded albums to ever come out. It's amazing. Tracks such as All Falls Down, Jesus Walks, slow jams, Through the Wire. Slow jams with Jamie Foxx and Twista, not their last time working together, is one of my favorites. It samples a lot of old R&B, soul, funkish sounds and makes it into something completely his own. Through the Wire is a really interesting track. It's recorded when Kanye was in a very serious car accident and he had his lawyer sewn her wired shut, and so he raps like this the entire time. But it's really cool. And it samples the classic song The Wire. I would recommend listening to it. It has great lyrics such as, I drink that booze for breakfast and ensure for dessert. Somebody order pancakes, I just sip the scissor. So like I said, it's where Kanye finds his soulful sound, samples all this classic R&B, which ends up being a lot of his initial style, where he takes old songs, samples them, speeds them up, and then raps over them. And a big theme in this album is material things. He's finally, hit it big. He's able to buy clothes and cars. Always said if I'd rap, I'd say something significant, but now I'm rapping about money, hoes, and ribs again. I thought this was one of my favorite Kanye West lyrics. Went to the mall and balled too hard. Oh my God, is that a black card? I turned around and replied, why yes, but I prefer the term African American Express. Also in Jesus Walks, one of his biggest singles from the album, he talks about, how you can sing about guns, sex, lies, videotapes, but if he talks about God, his record won't get played. And so that's something that Kanye starts addressing, that his material he raps about isn't going to be like other artists, and he tries to bring that to the forefront of a lot of his songs. So after The College Dropout comes out, and before Late Registration, Kanye is nominated for the AMA's Best New Artist, to which he loses to country singer Gretchen Wilson. I'm not a big country person, but I had to Google her and still couldn't recognize a lot of her songs. So upon losing that, he storms out of the awards ceremony, causes a big hubbub, and that's just the first of many award shows that Kanye causes a scene at. So we'll come back later. Anyway, his second album, his sophomore album, is Late Registration, another album that was received incredibly well, won a bunch of awards, and really showed that, this man is here to stay. Songs such as Touch the Sky, Gold Digger. I know you all heard Gold Digger before. I mean, come on, Jamie Foxx back at it again. And he addresses some more personal issues, this time with the song Hey Ma. Kanye goes and expands on his soulful sound, gets more personal, and it shows that he wasn't a one-hit wonder. This isn't a time where you've got rap artists having maybe one album, maybe one single, and that's it. You don't hear from him again. He's showing that he's at the top of his game and he's a real player. So in Hey Mama, he was comforting his mother and tells her that, promises her that one day he's gonna make enough money to buy her that mansion they couldn't afford, get her a car, and take care of her like she took care of him. So Kanye's mother is a huge influence and always supported him no matter what he did, and he gave this song to her as like a thank you and a promise that he was always going to take care of her. In one of his singles from the movie, from the Blood Diamonds movie I'm thinking of, from the album Diamonds from Sierra Leone, Kanye talks about the social injustices associated with the diamond trading and the drug trade back home. It's a real powerful song if you decide to listen to that, but then I chose this lyric because I thought it was funny. Stripper named Portia and you get tips from mini men, then your fat friend, her name was Miniman. Excuse me, that's just a mini man. I smoke, I drink, I'm supposed to stop, I can't. Shortly after later registration came out, Hurricane Katrina struck. That's a big thing for me as being from Louisiana. But during a telethon, Kanye West is on live air with Mike Myers, and Kanye says that George Bush doesn't care about black people, and Mike Myers' reaction is pretty funny. That was just a real weird thing. I can't defend that. That's just a weird thing for him to say. But he speaks his mind. He's kind of out there. Yeah, I got nothing for that one. Okay, then the Graduation drops. Yes, Graduation is one of my favorite albums, by the way. Songs like Stronger, Good Life, Can't Tell Me Nothing, Flashing Lights, and Homecoming. Stronger is the track that he did with Daft Punk. He took their Harder, Better, Faster, Stronger, sped it up, made it his own, and it was number 1 on the Billboards for a really long time. A big thing with the Graduation album was Kanye's addressing himself as the champion. He is a titan in this industry. He's huge. He can do anything. He really grows stylistically in this album and really shows how versatile he can be when it comes to making music. 50 Cent. Kanye viewed 50 Cent as a colleague and thought they were friends. They would trade each other's albums, listen to them, and they would bounce ideas off each other and try and push each other to be better. Well, 50 had a album coming out around the same time as Graduation did, and went on some media source and told him that he bet that if Kanye's album outsold his, 50 would drop out of the music game entirely. Well, he flopped big time. I can't remember I think it was Curtis was the name of the album, but it didn't do well at all. Kanye obliterated him, and 50 Cent kind of went back with his tail between his legs. So some of the lyrics. Everything I Am is a really, really interesting song. It's more introspective. It's more talking about Kanye being Kanye and how he is this big, champion in this type of industry, but he is still very vulnerable and prone to getting hurt. Okay. Shortly after Graduation dropped, Kanye's mother passed away due to complications in a cosmetic surgery that he paid for. So after that, he released 808s and Heartbreaks, which is something entirely different, never seen before by him. The style is a lot more electronic. It's a lot more distant. It's a lot more emotional. Not only did his mother pass away, he broke off his fiance broke off their engagement, and so this is the first album that he really delves into the struggles that come with being famous. He's no longer a real person because his life is constantly on display, which is what Pinocchio's story addresses. He can have all the material things he could ever want, but it's not going to make him whole again. His mother's gone, the love of his life is gone. A lot of things are just falling apart for him. This album actually goes on to inspire a lot of the newer rap artists that are really big right now. Kid Cudi, J. Cole, I think Kendrick, and Childish Gambino, all directly quote 808s and Heartbreaks as their direct influence for getting into the rap game. So this is a big album in his life, and it shows his transition from being on top of the world to being back on the ground with us. So this is another big Kanye West blunder. In 2009, Taylor Swift wins the Best Video of the Year, whatever, I can't really remember. And Kanye interrupts her. He goes on and says Beyonce has the best video, and he gets booed, and he receives a lot of flack from this, and to this day still hasn't really recovered. Even though he wrote on his blog later that night apologizing to Taylor, saying that he didn't really mean it, it wasn't against her, it was more against the institution. Goes on Jay Leno the next night to once again apologize, and then sends T Sweezy an edible arrangement, and she sends it back. So he made a mistake. He's very outspoken. He can get himself into trouble, obviously, but he tried apologizing to Taylor and says it wasn't her that he was mad about, it was the institution. But coming up, you'll see that that's fancy. Don't want to get there yet. He had an entire fashion line planned out that ended up tanking after this because he got so much bad publicity. He had a really awesome tour with Lady Gaga scheduled that I would have easily gone to, but that got canceled too because people lost a lot of interest in him, only knowing him as that guy that interrupted Taylor Swift. And notice how earlier he interrupted someone else that won a better music video, even though he spent $1 million on his and had Pamela Anderson. He interrupted those people, but no one really cared. It's just that when he took shots at Taylor Swift, people seemed to get into this huge hubbub. And actually, if you look at her internet search history, she's never been Googled more than after this event. So maybe he did make her famous. Who knows? This is the My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. The notable tracks, that's the entire track list. This CD is amazing. It is one of his highest, critically acclaimed album, and it's great. It's after his reclusive period. After this whole Taylor Swift thing, he goes off and I think he lives in like Hawaii or something for about a year, and he just works on this, and he surrounds himself in work, and he produces this masterpiece. If you haven't heard it, I would highly recommend it. Power, All of the Lights, all these songs. Personal favorite is Devil in a Dress. So he had all-star cast. He had Elton John on this. Rihanna was in a lot. Jay-Z obviously came back for a lot of the songs. Beyonce, I think I said Beyonce. But anyway, so he does an amazing job on this CD. And despite all of the acclaim it's getting, it's still not selling well because of the Taylor Swift flack. Those are just some lyrics. Hit the Jamaican spot at the bar, took a seat. I ordered the jerk. She said you are what you eat. You see, I always love that sense of humor, but tonight you should have seen how quiet the room was. That's another thing he addresses is, he's not really over his whole breakup, and he's still healing from that. And so he addresses, the problems with dating, and not only that. Jesus is his most recent solo album. I don't really count Life of Pablo as of right now because it's not technically released yet. They're still working on it. But this is Jesus. Jesus was was an album for him. It was a lot more, sonically challenging. The songs are kind of hard to listen to at first, but they get better after a few times. Once you get it, it approaches social issues like the song "Blow on the Leaves," talking about, sampled the song "Strange Fruit." I can't remember the artist's name, but talks about social injustice towards like African Americans, stuff like that. And it's him, living up to his potential as a rap god. Not my favorite, but still worth a listen to. Kanye West has 21 Grammys. That's pretty impressive. All his albums besides 808s and Yeezus have been awarded the Best Rap Album of the Year. He got an NAACP award for Outstanding New Artist, in 2004, which is kind of funny because he raps about how he doesn't think they'll ever give him another one because he made himself look like an idiot so many times. So despite all these awards, he's never won Album of the Year or Song of the Year, and that's a big thing for him. He really wants to win that because he feels like he's being shoehorned into the rap category and not overall artist. So that's something he's always been striving for. In an interview, one of his most recent interviews, it's like an hour long if you want to laugh.